First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Chung Kung. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Dubden Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa today, the great Ragaraja, Simu, Tansen Katso, Tutan City, all Dharma masters, Dharma teachers, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, all disciples present here and over the internet. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? I would like to announce for next Sunday on November 15th at 3 p.m. there would be the founder of Tantric Buddhism, Vajrasattva Homa fire offering ceremony. Vajrasattva. So he's the Dharma Prince of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. So he's the representative of Vajradhara. That's Vajrasattva, the mantra. Which is the short mantra of the 100-syllable mantra. The mudra, both hands in a fist and then cross in front of the chest. And one of Vajrasattva's hands is holding a Vajra bell near the leg, and then the other hand is holding a Vajra scepter vertical in front of the chest. Typically, it's like this. he holds them like this. Vajra bell. And Vajra scepter this way. Everybody know. I remember when Grandmaster at my guru's place, he bestowed a statue of Vajrasattva upon me. And he placed it in a box. And when he bestowed it upon me, he said, "This is the patriarch of all Tantric Buddhism." The founder of all Tantric Buddhism. And then the Guru joined his palms together. This is the founder, Vajrasattva. So Vajrasattva is the representative of Vajradhara. The Vajradhara, or the Vajra holder. That's the Homa next Sunday. And today we perform Ragaraja Homa. And when I dedicated the merit, Vairocana Buddha entered into the heart of Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, and from the heart of Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, Ragaraja was emanated. And I also said that Vajrasattva transformed into Ragaraja. Actually, both of them are the same. We all know that Samantabhadra Bodhisattva in Mahayana Buddhism is the same as Vajrasattva in Tantric Buddhism. So Vajrasattva emanated Ragaraja, and the other one is Vairocana Buddha entered into the heart of Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, and from the heart emanated Ragaraja. So in Japanese Tantrayana, it's very widespread. So Ragaraja is very popular in Japanese Tantrayana. When you go to Japanese tantric temples, you would be able to see two deities that always appear. One of them is Akalanata. Akalanata. That's Akalanata, Akalanata's mantra. And the other one is Ragaraja. Hom, Zazi, Hom, Ro. Hom, Zazi, Hom, Ro. Ragaraja is very remarkable, very special. He's red, he's a magnetizing deity. And the mudra also very special. That means it's being touched by love, the mudra. And he is seated on a lotus blossom. And the lotus blossom is blossoming from a nectar vase. And he is seated on top of the lotus. He's very unique. He looks wrathful, but Ragaraja is a love deity, most popular in Japan. There are many Dharma practices related to Ragaraja. Grandmaster had talked about this before. I remember it was Master Lien Teng. When he presided over this ceremony, and I gave the transmission and exposition of Ragaraja. And Master Lien Teng spoke for a very long time because his script was very long. So he continued talking and talking, and Master Lien Miao told him, "It's enough. Stop." And he said, "I don't know how to stop." Master Lien Teng said he didn't know how to stop, and he continued to talk. And Master Lien Miao kept reminding him, "Enough, enough. Time is up." And he couldn't stop and continued. And Master Lien Miao went up again and told Master Lien Teng, "You continue to talk and Grandmaster would have no time to talk about it." So therefore, finally, I rushed through the Dharma transmission. That's what happened. Master Lien Teng was really fun. He did not know how to stop because he hadn't finished reading his scripts. This is about Ragaraja. Prior to the Dharma teaching, I would like to start with a joke. Because I was in a bad mood, I had a drink with friends. And I took my cell phone and checked my contact, and all I saw are strange names. I did not know who to call. I felt really bad, so I cried all night. And the second day I woke up, and then I realized the cell phone it's not mine. So I cried all night. What did the joke say? It indicated that the cell phones can help people But sometimes the cell phones can also harm people. Lots of things have the positive side and the negative side. When there's a positive side, there's always the negative side. Last night, we talked about Tantric Buddhism. Tantric Buddhism is to help people and to let people attain Buddhahood very swiftly, very quickly. However, if you encounter a fake guru, and you thought you encountered an authentic guru, but actually it was fake. It was a phony guru. So this kind of guru can harm people. Like what we talked about last night. You don't know whether he's a real guru or a fraud or fake one. Maybe all he wanted is about money and fame. So his own reputation and fames, and then the privileges and benefits. Then you try to cheat sentient beings. So they are authentic living Buddhas. Then if there is an authentic living Buddha, then there would be a fake living Buddha too. Where there is an authentic guru, there should also be a fraud or fake guru too. So in this world, when there is a real or authentic thing, there is also a fake or fraudulent thing. Therefore, every single being should learn, should gain wisdom, enhance wisdom, your wisdom. Once you have wisdom, then you would not be tricked or cheated. It's very easy to see through a fake guru. A fake guru cares about his fame and benefits. He put great importance on his own fame and name, as well as his own benefits and privileges. Therefore, we should have wisdom and not to be tricked or cheated by them. Question from Malaysia. Lian Hua Heng Fu. Beloved Grandmaster, Grandmaster once wrote in your book that at below navel of every human being there is a coil like a baby. It can radiate light above to respond to the 5-colored rainbow light, to the middle, to the 3 colors of red, white, and blue of a human body, and below to the 5 elements of the great earth. It can move up to the brow point. The light can move and accumulate. It can make one to achieve the look of a compassionate face or wrathful appearance of a Heruka. Only then one is considered to be a sadaka of a Drupada school. My question is, one, what does this baby of a coil below the navel refer to? Second, how do we move it to the brow point? Please kindly advise Amitabha. I wrote this in Grandmaster's book number 45, The Meditation to Achieve Clear Light Radiance. The title is Lively Soul. The author will open the Dharma door of Trubhuda school today. In order to achieve the clear light radiance of meditation, one must first practice until our Kundalini at the place below the navel where there is a coil which looks like a baby, which can emit celestial light above to respond to the 5-colored rainbow light, to the middle to the 3 colors of white, red, and blue lights of a human body, and below to the 5 elements of the great earth. It can move up to the brow point area. The light can move and accumulate, and it can make one to achieve the look of a compassionate face or a wrathful appearance of a Heruka. Only then one is considered to be a true sadaka of Trubhuda school. So that was an excerpt from my book number 45, The Meditation to Achieve Clear Light Radiance, on an article, The Lively Soul, or Original Soul. A baby being born that is at the Dharma Generation Palace. His first question, what does this baby of coil below the navel refer to? It refers to the Life Generation Palace. The Life Generation Palace. How do we move this baby to the brow point? And what does this baby refer to? It refers to the inner fire inside the Life Generation Palace, or Tumo. And how do you transport the inner fire to the brow point? We all know. Use the breathing method. First, you ignite the inner fire in 10 breathings, in 10 breaths. It would reach the navel, and from navel, another 10 breaths to reach the heart chakra, another 10 breaths to reach the throat chakra, another 10 breaths to reach the brow chakra. The outer appearance of a Heruka and the inner abiding of bodhicitta. So inwardly, it's a bodhisattva, and outwardly, you show the form of a Vajra or Heruka. That's for Tantric Buddhism. So what is the baby below the navel That is the inner fire inside the life generation palace. And where is that located at? It's 4 finger widths below navel. That is the place. How can we transport the baby to the brow point? You use your mind. You use your qi. So when we talk about Lamdre, we often mention about the union of the mind and the qi. So you use your mind and you use the qi that you have practiced through breathing practice. Complete breathing. And you use pumping to ignite the inner fire and transport the inner fire to the brow point. That is the method. When I wrote that book, The Meditation to Achieve Clear Light Radiance, I was talking about 4 finger widths below navel. There is a coil that looks like a baby. That's the inner fire. Above to respond to the 5-colored rainbow light, and to the middle of the 3 colors of white, red, and blue of a human body, and below to the 5 elements of the great earth. It can move up to the brow point area, and the light can move and accumulate. Now you understand. From Malaysia, Sabah, Yang Chu Fan. Amitabha, Grandmaster, please teach. The 4 elements are empty refers to the 4 major elements of the body, i.e. the earth, water, fire, and wind. If they are empty, then the body disintegrates and returns to emptiness. This is my shallow understanding, because I want to enter samadhi. Yet the 6 thieves give rise to the 6 dust. So sometimes it's difficult to be in meditation. Then all of a sudden, I thought of treating the 6 thieves to become empty, and then the 6 thieves are killed. Is this the correct thought? Thank you, Grandmaster, for your teaching. Om Guru Lien Seng Siddhi Hong. We often say the 4 elements are empty, and which are the 4 elements? Buddhism always say about the 4 elements are empty. Which 4 elements are they? But in Buddhism, the 4 elements, the 4 grades actually are wine, sex, wealth, and qi. That's for the mundane people. Any other? But the 4 major elements of the body is earth, water, fire, and wind.
他的讲的杨秋凡，他讲
杨秋凡。
什么是六节？眼耳鼻舌身意。
The 6 thieves are the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Those are the 6 thieves. But how come he said it's vision, hearing, smelling, and talking? Did you ever hear that? So this question is questionable. The 6 thieves are the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. But he put in parentheses here that the 6 thieves are seeing, hearing, smelling, and talking. Seeing is the eye, hearing is the ear, smelling is the nose, and talking the tongue. But he skipped the other 2, body and mind. Thinking, their thoughts. Oh, so please raise your hands. The 4 bigs are the drink, sex, wealth, and qi of the mundane world. And the 4 bigs of the body, earth, water, fire, and wind. Which ones? Please raise your hand if the 4 bigs refer to drink, sex, wealth, and qi. Nobody. If it refers to the earth, water, fire, and wind, please raise your hands. So, okay, we talk about the earth, water, fire, and wind. The earth, water, fire, and wind of the whole world. That's too big. You just Google on, then you will get it. So there's a Chinese idioms. It's a Buddhist term. That the 4 bigs are empty, which means the whole world is empty, which is the waves empty, the heavens empty, the earth empty, and the human beings are empty. So all these big things are not related to self. So we can say it is related to the earth, water, fire, and wind. So the big Tao, heaven, earth, and human. Those are the four bigs. Humans is considered to be one of them. Oh, the more it talks, the more muddled we become. Okay, so let's talk about what this person was talking about. So the four bigs are empty, and to kill the six thieves. He said, is it okay to think of the four pigs are empty in order to kill the six thieves? The earth is empty, the water is empty, the fire is empty, and the wind is empty. They're all empty. Then can you achieve the killing of the six thieves of the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind? It seems to be, but also not. This is just conceptual. Let me ask the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Let the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas resolve this problem. The score of 60, it's just barely passed. If someone can kill the six thieves using the four pigs, that's already incredible. In order to kill the six thieves is that your eyes don't see. The cell phones can harm people because it's quite addictive. Some people playing the cell phones until dawn. What? Day breaks already. I was just looking for time flies because it's quite addictive. So Grandmaster has no smartphones. Never play the smartphones. Then you would not be addicted by it. You don't see it. And the ears don't hear. Then you would not be deluded by sounds and voices. And the nose doesn't smell. If you cannot smell anything anymore, then you get coronavirus. Then you've got coronavirus. If your olfactory sense is gone, you cannot smell if it is smell good or stinky. Or if you have no more taste, sense of taste, and your mind doesn't think, and your body does not touch, then the six thieves are killed already. The arhats are also called the killer of the 6 thieves. In order to achieve arhatship, you have to kill the 6 thieves, which means your body and mind is completely unmoved. If your body and mind are completely unmoved, then you can abandon everything in the mundane world. If you want to renunciate the mundane world, first you want to close off the 6 senses. Then you would become unmoved. Once you're unmoved, then you would be able to merge into the consciousness of the universe. Then you would have attainment. But if you are attached to any one thing, then you would be held in bondage. Then it would be extremely difficult for you to leave the Saha world or the rebirth cycle. Every time the Buddha gave Dharma teaching, he would always say, Bhikkhu, the world is suffering. Every time before the Buddha gave Dharma teaching, he would always say this statement, Bhikkhu, the world is suffering. In order to leave behind suffering and gain happiness, you have to shut off the 6 thieves. That's the cultivation method of our hearts. Then, in order to do that, your eyes don't see, your ears don't hear, your nose doesn't smell, your tongue doesn't taste, your body does not touch, and your mind does not think. Then that would be samadhi. If you shut off the 6 thieves, then you would be able to enter samadhi. Then when you're in samadhi, you would be able to use your small mind to confirm, to match the big mind. So in order to enter samadhi, you have to kill the 6 thieves first. But if your mind is still moving, you cannot enter samadhi. If your eyes still see, like the example that I give, your eyes looks at the cell phones and you're addictive to the cell phone, it's impossible for you to renunciate and abandon the Saha world. So the question asked by Yang Chu-fan was answered by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, a score of 60. And Karen Master just taught that enter samadhi, kill the 6 thieves. First, your mind focuses and then transforms it into emptiness. When you still have thoughts, then you concentrate on the thoughts. And you use your thoughts to retract your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. You close your eyes, you close off your ears, you're smelling, you're tasting, you're touching. You close off all those senses and you concentrate on the mind, and then you transform the mind into emptiness. That's the way to enter samadhi. So, that's Next, to answer your question, from Singapore, Nianhua disciple. Master, I heard during your exposition on Lamdre, you talk about cha-cha, which is the eradication of karma using a small Buddhist statue. It just so happened that I came across the mold for this small statue. May I do this practice? Should I make 100 or 108 of statues or cha-cha? You also said that you should chant mantra, that we should chant mantra while making the statues. May I chant the short version of the 100-syllable mantras? And what should I do with them afterwards? Please advise. The so-called cha-cha means small Buddhist statue made of clay. In Tibet, many people make these small statues called cha-cha. I remember Kanchu Rinpoche made 2 little cha-chas and bestowed them upon Master Thubten Dorje. And they were Vajrapani and Vajravarahi. They were auctioned already, yes. Who got them? Zheng Mingchang. 2 little statues by Kanchu Rinpoche, which transmitted them to Master Thubten Dorje, and that Master Thubten Dorje transmitted them to me, which I placed at the office of the Rainbow Temple, and then we auctioned them. And we cannot sell them because it would be tax. But auctions, no tax. So we have to say the right words. I never auction anything for myself. It is for the spiritual centers. Those were called cha-chas. Not the cha-cha that we talk about from San Francisco. It's different cha-cha. In Chinese characters, it's totally different characters. So this person had the mold for this small statue, cha-cha, and wanted to make 100 or 108 of these little statues. And Grandmaster said, while making the statues, we have to chant mantra. And then what should I do with them afterwards? Tibetans, do you know where they would leave them? In the remote places, tops of the mountains, banks of rivers. After you perform the ritual using the cha-chas, then you place the cha-chas at the tops of the mountains or at the banks of rivers or remote places. What are they for? Only Master so you can chant the short version of 100 syllable mantra, which is the mantra of Vajrasattva, which is the Homa that we will have next Sunday. So you can make the statue while chanting. So whatever statue it is, based on your mold, then you recite that mantra. What kind of chatas is yours? You have to say it specifically. If it is Amitabha Chacha, or Amitabha small statue, or Avalokiteswara small statues, mold, and you made them from clays, and sometimes you add the bones or the ashes of sages or holy people, holy person, which is someone that has been practicing for a long time, and after being cremated, the ash or bones can be mixed into the clay to make the statues. And sometimes you can also use barley flour or wheat flour to make, or clay, to make these small statues. And some people even use plastics. That's fine too. And you mix them with the ash, bone ash of a holy person. And for Tibetans, after they finish their Dharma ritual, they place the small statues at the tops of the mountains or the wilderness, is to connect the affinities with sentient beings to generate bodhicitta. And then you place them at the river banks. That's to create good affinity with sentient beings and generate bodhicittas. And in the future, these small statues would become people who are helpful or favorable to you. Grandmaster knows about this. Sometimes Tibetans use these small statues. They make chachas. If you go to Lhasa, the capital of Tibet, you would be able to buy these small statues on the streets. You can buy them. After you made the statues, then you can buy a little stall in Lhasa and people can buy from you. But most of the time, they place them in the wilderness or the peaks of the mountains, because you have chanted mantras, so you connect affinities with sentient beings. And once you create good affinity with sentient beings, you would have many people that are favorable and helpful to you. The wife asked the husband, I don't understand. All the people who chased after me, they were all richer than you. But how come I wanted to marry you? And the husband replied, because a poor man is more caring than the rich man. At least more caring for your figure. because being with you, you would never worry about your bus line. So what does it mean, this joke? So which means because he's so poor, he cannot feed her enough, so that she's always slim. Is that the case? The wife is about to give birth, and the baby is moving inside the womb. And all night the wife is turning and tossing, couldn't fall asleep. And the husband asks, "What's going on?" "Because your son doesn't want to sleep." Oh, maybe the baby knows he's about to come out, so he's getting ready and packing. That's a joke. The former boyfriend sent me a text and asked me to attend his wedding. And I calmly replied, "Next time." I'll go next time. There's meaning here, which means that they'll get divorced and marry again. Let's talk a little bit about Lamdre. When the mind qi is equally absorbed into the smoky color, tu sit syllable of the animals, its sensation is rather stupid and ignorant, and indifference towards cleanliness versus filth. The dance shows many kinds of dog, cow, and other animal behaviors. The mantra says all kinds of animal sounds. Then the mind sensation is the same as above. The three sightings are seeing the ocean, living spaces of the animals, seeing whales and huge fish. One can guide others to see also. If one dreams of the above, then it is the dream sensation, a total of 7. This is very easy to explain. So the animal realms. You're not born as a human being. You fall into the animal realm. Some live on the ground, cows, sheep, dogs, pigs, chickens, ducks, and those living in water, fish, shrimps, and many more. The water animals, whales, huge fish. If you absorb the mind qi into the animal realms, like in samadhi, you enter into the animal realms. The sit syllable is tu. That looks like u. It's called tu. And the sensation, spiritual sensation, is stupidity, foolishness, ignorance.
常干净跟污秽都分不出。
Cannot indifference toward cleanliness versus dirtiness. And in terms of dance, it would be the behaviors of dog, cows, and other animals, and the sounds of animal sound. We sing. So that's ji 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 ji. That's the mantra. It's for the chicken. Old MacDonald has a farm. He raised sheep. Me, me, me. Me, 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 me. This me is the mantra. So the mantra is the sounds of the animals. And the three sightings are seeing the ocean, living spaces of the animals. So if in samadhi you enter into the ocean, you would be able to see whales and fish. Grandmaster once entered into the great ocean in samadhi, and the fish swim through my body and inside my body. Grandmaster had experienced that before. Seeing whales and fish, and one can guide others to see, and one dreams of the same thing, of the ocean. That would be the dream sensation, a total of 7. Next. Today I sang. That song wasn't bad, huh? Old MacDonald has a farm. So when you meditate, one time when I meditated, I've said it before, I was in my house in front of my altar in meditation, and yet I went to Safeway. I sat in the aisle of Safeway. You know, Safeways, rows after rows. I moved there inside Safeway and sat on the aisle, and everybody walked through me. I said this before. Everybody just walked through me, and I saw Peng Ling. So I look, oh, what time and what date is today? And then Peng Ling came to Seattle Temple. I told Peng Ling, on this date and time, you were in Safeway, right? And you went to buy cheese. And Peng Ling said, oh, Grandmaster, how did you know? I saw Peng Ling went to buy cheese. I saw him. How could that happen? That was you were meditating in the human world, and you went to Safeway and sat there, and you had sensation. You saw Pengling, you saw people walking around and walking through you. So I entered Samadhi, and you entered into the human world. So if you enter into the animal world in meditation, I would go into the ocean, would sit at the bottom of the ocean. The mind and the chi is on the animal realms, is on the ocean. I would see the fish swimming through my body. And when I exit meditation, the fish is still inside your body. Oh no! I felt really bad. There's a fish inside my body. Then you have to meditate again and enter into the ocean again, and to let the fish swim out, and then you exit from your meditation. Therefore, there is a meditation called the water meditation. So when you meditate, you would enter into the water. And there is another meditation called the fire meditation. When we are performing Homa and you meditate, during Homa you enter into the fire. That's the fire meditation, or meditation amidst fire, meditation amidst water. So that's why when you meditate, and if you reach the heavenly realm, then you would go to heavens and you would be able to see heavenly beings and celestial maidens. Then, of course, in the future, we hope that our meditations would be fixed to the four holy realms, the four sagely realms, so that in the future, when we leave the world, we can also use the method of meditation, that you meditate and you would go directly to the four sagely realms, the realms of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Pratyeka Buddhas, and Arhats. So it depends on your power and ability of your meditation. So Grandmaster once meditated amidst the human world and also amidst the water. So that's about Lamdre. Last joke. There are 1.4 billion in China people. If someone gives me $1, if everybody gives me $1 each, I would be rich. The answer, don't be dumb. Definitely not. Why? If someone wants to give me money, why don't I want it? And the answer? Let me explain. 1.4 billion people in China. Even if someone gives you $1, so by accepting $1, you need 1 second. So you need 1.4 billion seconds. That would be 44 years. So even if you don't eat or drink or sleep and continue accepting money 24 hours around the clock, it would require 44 years. And now you're 30 years old, and 44 years later you're 84. You would be 82. What use is the money? Is it to buy your tomb?
你们数学好的，
There.
14亿秒，
1.4 billion seconds.
你们算一下看看，
Is it really becomes 44 years?
14亿秒。你们数学好的，我数学很差。你们算算看。
Uh-oh.
4亿秒，等于是44年。这个人怎么那么聪明？数学很好。
Is it really? Yeah, that's right. That's right, 44 years. No, that's very so long. That's yeah, and calculate it at home. That's all for today. Oh, money, pay me home.